All right there, everyone. Great to be back with you. As always, we have our, as I think I announced him last time, our resident oracle, not the oracle from Omaha, but the true oracle nonetheless, Bob Kudla. He's back with us again. Trade Genius Academy. If you're not familiar with Bob, he started Trade Genius Academy back in 2015 after about 25 years as an executive for two Fortune 500 companies in the financial services industry. And over the past 5 years, Bob has amassed a 65% overall win record in the market. And I know I've gotten a lot of feedback from you guys that you really enjoy working with him. In our past conversations, he's helped us make some financial sense of this coronavirus pandemic, of a post-pandemic economy, a post-riot economy, and now increasingly a post-election economy. So today we're going to try to make sense of what to expect in the first few months here of 2021. So Bob, welcome back. Great to have you here.
Hey, thanks, Dr. Steve. Glad to be here. Happy New Year.
No, it's our pleasure. Happy New Year to you, my friend. All right. So since the last time we talked, it's like the world has changed. It's gone upside down. Congress certified Biden as president. We lost the Senate. The Republicans lost the Senate, although it's a 50-50 split, which apparently is not very optimal. It's not a very good situation. So anyway, what sense are you making of things since we last spoke?
Yeah, I guess there's 2 points I want to make today. Number one is that the country split 50-50, essentially. So don't get freaked out by the rhetoric of the left because they have a bigger megaphone. You know, their power is going to be somewhat challenged across the board. You know, the courts aren't interested in losing power to the progressive movement. The Senate, there's 2 senators there. You know, one from Arizona, one from West Virginia, that are not going to give Chuck Schumer unlimited, unbridled power to essentially recreate the America of his dream. So I think there's going to be a lot of checks and balances still in place on that. It doesn't mean that some of the crazy stuff they want to do is not going to get done. That's what happens when you win elections, until you prove to the people that you shouldn't be in charge. Right. And so in 2 years, that opportunity is going to come again. So knowing that, everybody just needs to take a deep breath. You know, this cancel culture stuff that's flying around right now, this is just revenge stuff that's going on. It's going to sort itself out because cooler heads are going to understand that this can work both ways. And I don't think they're going to like the reverb on some of this stuff. So let that play out as well. You know, we just focus on, you know, on our jobs, our family, making money. Post-pandemic is coming. Cuomo all but announced it yesterday because they know now they own it. Okay, they can't blame Trump for any of this stuff. They own it now. So you're going to start seeing all kinds of excuses. The media machine's going to start whirring towards, we did it, you did it, let's go. So we're going to see an uptick in economic activity. At the same time, President-elect Biden has promised us a $5 trillion stimulus package. Now, you know, that could be like taking too many steroids, right? We may blow out a heart valve here with this one, and it's going to cause immense pressure on prices because the money's not going to know where to go, and so you're going to start seeing prices increasing across the board. We're already seeing it, you know, in housing construction costs. I think it costs like almost, I think 40% more to build a home.
Wow.
With the materials that are coming on board, you know, with lumber and copper and some of those other things, that it will become unaffordable to do some of these projects. Food inflation is starting to kick up, and that's the one we really need to watch. So, and then this whole EV revolution is not going to end anytime soon. You know, I also owned a solar business for 16 years. So, you know, people on the right definitely care about the environment, as I do. I am not a climate change guy, though. I want to be clear. You know, I did it more for national security reasons and for a cleaner environment. And the electric revolution is here to stay. And so you're going to see that, and you get to see it in the stock charts. Anything with power production, battery, EV is exploding. It's getting ahead of itself now, so we'll probably see a pretty good sell-off in that area pretty soon. But then it'll come back roaring again. And then the commodities, Steve, are just gonna rip. You know, uranium and steel and iron ore, platinum and palladium, silver and gold are going to go up too. You don't spend $5 trillion. Basically, your money is going to be faster than the economic growth. That causes inflation. That causes people to desire precious metals, rinse and repeat. So that's kind of where we're focused. And then one other thing that people don't realize is what the fertilizer companies are doing extremely well. We've been in them. I think I sent you an attaboy, somebody that, 60%. We've just today, I'll have more attaboys for you because they just keep rocketing. Mosaic, IPI, ICL, NTR, Y10, that's YTEN, Seed, SEED. These all have been moving, and we've been in them all. And we're making people mid double-digit returns on these in a couple weeks. And under the radar, we picked it up through our algorithm. So that's what's flying right now, Stephen, and that's what's going to happen. So there's going to be we're going to go through a little bit of a chaos phase if the Democrats are dumb enough to proceed with impeachment, because that means for the next 2 to 3 months, Trump has to protect himself. The Senate can't do any other business. So I think this is going to quickly come to some sort of conclusion, and then you're going to have the stimulus going, and that's going to heat up towards the fall. I think the lockdowns are going to be done, yada, yada, yada. Right. And then we'll see where everything goes from there.
That's great. That's an excellent canopy you're giving us to work with. So if we were to just kind of unpack that a little bit and break that down, let's talk, say, just the next 3 months, the quarter here, first quarter. So, the jobs report that we just saw come out was pretty bad, right? Fell by 3 million or so. Yeah, you have half the nation shut down. But now we've got the vaccine, and Cuomo's already telegraphing they're ready to open up again. So what do you see in the first quarter? What do you see in, say, the first 3 months?
Yeah, so employment is not going to improve until the spring.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, the revenge purging in the capital city is going to continue until the end of the first quarter. There is a strong desire to try to stamp out the progressive, not the progressive movement, the
nationalist populist kind of MAGA movement.
Yeah. Populist movement. Yeah. They'll fail, but they're going to try to do it. And then you're going to just see people are going to front run the stimulus money, and so you're going to see the cost of things rising ahead of the money getting into the system. So that's what I see through the end of March. And so things won't get worse, but they're not going to get better. People are going to get increasingly frustrated depending on how they manage the politics of this. And then, Uncle Joe's going to come in with $5 trillion of candy and see if he can buy everybody off.
I love how you put it. That's great. All right. And then you touched on this. This was really good. Just if we could zero in a bit more on what you think is going to be particularly hot on the market, given what we're seeing, particularly that stimulus passage, $5 trillion. You talked about fuels, you talked about seed, we're talking as well, and I think you mentioned precious metals. We're talking crypto as well. I saw that went up pretty high and then fell down a bit, but it certainly had a really nice surge. So kind of narrow that in for us. What do you see as most likely to be rather hot? Well, it's already hot now, and as we go into the spring.
Yeah, so we already had big moves in what do we call the industrial metals. They've already moved much higher because after the election. So they're going to probably pull back, and I think people are going to start moving into more of the precious metals. And then also these fertilizer companies are going to be strong through March because prices are increasing ahead of people purchasing them for their crops, because of basically the solar minimum is forcing them to over fertilize their fields. There's not enough supply because a lot of the mines were closed because of COVID around the world, and it's very concentrated ownership, and they're going to squeeze pricing to their advantage. So for us, we're going to own those things. So we've had a couple that have doubled for us, and there's a couple that will double still in price, and those are the ones we're giving out to our subscribers. So that's where I see it. Gold, silver, platinum, palladium, fertilizer is where the money's going to be made. The other industrial metals are going to take a little bit of a breather, and then once that money flows, you'll see them come back up again. And then we'll start looking at food company stocks when people realize in late spring that food inflation is coming to America.
Right. Where do you see anything with crypto?
Yeah, so crypto basically is front running all of that. The nice thing about crypto, there's no bumpers on it. So it is all mass. So the money moves very quickly to the endpoints. And so, we thought, 28, 29,000 was probably a good area for it to pause and rest. I think because of the election political chaos that ensued afterwards, I think more and more people started pushing money into the cryptocurrency and the institutional side, and we got up to 41,000. This pullback is to be expected, and it can pull back even further. It can pull back into the mid-20s. People you have to ignore that. You just wait for the next buying opportunity. What Bitcoin does give us, though, usually when Bitcoin sells off 20% or more, you get a sell-off in the stock market too. So it's kind of a little bit of a canary in a coal mine. So, the commodity stocks are going to do well, but I suspect that we're going to see a pullback in the general stock market itself. So Bitcoin usually leads. It has for the last 5 sell-offs. It led the market, close enough to make it actionable for you to prepare for maybe trimming or moving your money to different places and stuff like that. But yeah, make no mistake, cryptocurrencies is moving one for one with the movement of the world central banks. Okay. So you can watch Tesla, gives you a hint on crypto because they're trading a correlation of 0.9. Stock market is watching crypto because that's where the hottest money is flowing. The money starts flowing out of that, risk off is coming, and that's going to drive the stock market down a little bit. So those are the little tricks that we look at to kind of give us a peek around the corner.
I love those indicators. This is so good. All right, let's take a look at some of these shout outs here. You got plenty here. Let's see. This is from David. Trimmed half position. I want to thank you in the suggestion in one of our coaching sessions. 4 months gave me a 92.83% return to date. Basically doubled my money, and today took my initial investment off the table and letting it ride with house money. Big believer in the coaching with Bob. Can't say enough about that. What's the backstory? You obviously wrote that, right? And then you just put somebody else's name on there.
Yeah, that's what I did. They're called Addabobs. So.
Addabobs. I love it. Yeah.
So David's an interesting guy that he's not our typical subscriber in that he can't always be trading because he's actually a CEO of 2 companies. And so he usually talks to me, and I've known him for quite some time. Usually talks to me regarding macro, like you and I are talking. So he wants a personal, coaching session. He does it about every 6 months, saying, hey, kind of tell me where you think the hockey puck is going. Some name, do you think I can get in? Because when he buys, he's not buying for a lot of our trades are 3 to 5 day kind of things. He wants to buy something we can hold for 3 to 6 months.
Okay. Yeah.
So he can work on his business versus staring at a screen all day long. And so those I've done a couple sessions with him over the last 2 years, and that just came out of the blue last week, and I was really happy to hear that. It's gratifying that people are going to be able to take positive action for some of the the things that we see out there. So David wanted to acknowledge that.
That's great. Well, 90+% return. Here's Emily, made 60% on IPI. It was awesome. Thanks a million, Bob. What's the backstory in that one?
Yeah, so Emily, and I didn't send you both of her. She also made 80% trading U.S. steel.
Oh,
So
wow.
she's a really interesting person. She's actually an epidemiologist, and so she's trained, math and very precise, and so she takes this very seriously using the system that we have. And now IPI was a signal I pushed out, but U.S. Steel was one I did not. I just kind of said, this is an area you might want to take a look at. And since she used the system, she made money herself on that. And so she's consistently doing very well. And for people that haven't traded before, she's 1 year in. And so now she's able to determine what are trades that are good for her and her family, and then make really good returns on those. And so she's doing extremely well. So I always tell people that even if you're new, once you learn the lingo, and the rules are really straightforward, you just have to follow them. You can't help but make money.
Yeah, this one here, is it Kinvezu? After 1 month, I'm up 28%. Going great so far, and some others saying just want to say thank you. Great start to the year. So it sounds like you've had a very good January thus far.
Yeah, I mean, since the election, we've actually done even better than we normally do. Volatility is there, and we make money the more volatile the market is. The more it swings and oscillates, it gives us better opportunities. So yeah, so we were doing really well. He came from actually the crypto side, and he wanted to expand. I have another gentleman that runs my crypto room for me, so I focus on stocks, he focuses on crypto. And he said, hey, I'm doing really well with you guys over crypto. I want to actually start investing in some stock trading. And so that came out of the blue too. So he's a longtime crypto customer of ours that wanted to trade stocks, and it seems to have picked it up fairly quickly. So it's pretty good for him.
Absolutely. Yeah. So give our viewers a sense of what they can expect if they were to sign up with Trade Genius.
Yeah, so you join Trade Genius, you can pick 1 to 7 bundles. So you can trade cryptos or stocks, or cryptos and stocks. You can also day trade with us and be in a room we call the VIP room. We have a lack of a better name for it, but that kind of gives you even more interaction with us than the normal subscription. And then when you join us, you automatically get access to our playlists of how to trade what we call our ribbon system, where you learn how to basically manipulate the different ribbons to be able to determine buy and sell signals. So we teach you that. There's 13-part series. They're all 3 to 4 minutes long. Basically, we build you from zero to hero in that. In fact, I had an attaboy I should have sent to you where the guy said you're training. These playlists are better than what he got from his broker, because we explain why we do what we're doing. It's always important to know why you do something, not just how you do it, so you can become independent. So once you do that, you're in the room. So you get our trade signals that we push out every day. You get access to our chat rooms. We taught you how to trade things. So you can trade things that I don't trade. That Emily traded, I didn't trade X until much later. She jumped on it right away because she saw that it was a good trade, and she managed that trade all the way through those kind of gains. So that to me is like the epitome of what I want to accomplish for people, that, hey, we gave them a system and a set of tools where they can be successful. But at the same time, every day we're giving trades out too. So it's really an integrated system. And then some people like David buy extra coaching time. And then some other people will want some of the training courses. So they want to learn how to trade options, or they want to learn how to trade futures and things like that. So we have courses in which they can buy, and they have access to basically indefinitely to those once they purchase them. They're just sitting on our cloud, and so they can just have access to them. So that's what we do. And then we pre-discount, like we always do, Steve, to your listeners. If they take advantage by Saturday, you use the promo code WINTER. They get 45% off things that are unbundled, but they get 65% off things that are bundled. and the discount bundles are already pre-discounted with it in there, so they're already seeing the net price. The unbundled stuff, they can take 45% off the retail price. But by Saturday, you have to take advantage of it so that you can enjoy it. And pricing is really good. I'm sure you get a lot of feedback. We charge very, very modestly to the value you get out of this. We want to make sure it's affordable for everybody. And people seem to think so.
Yeah,
so tradelightgenius.com or tradegeniusacademy.com.
Excellent. We'll have the links down below. And Bob, every time you come on here, you enlighten me and you enlighten many. So it's wonderful to know that we have a resource like yourself during these uncertain times. And so you're very, very appreciated. So thank you so much. And God's richest blessings all throughout the year to you.
Thanks, Dr. Steve. You too. Enjoy that weather.